My family chose my sister's beach party over my wedding. Months later. I'm 32 years old. My name is Carlos, and until not too long ago, if you had asked me what my life was like, I would have said it was good, stable. I had a decent job in finance, a comfortable apartment, and most importantly, I had Renata. Renata is 28, an architect, and the kind of person who radiates calm. We met on a hellish work project 5 years ago. She was designing the remodel of my office, and I was stuck with the numbers. Among messy blueprints and cups of stale coffee, at 10 o'clock at night, we found something. It wasn't love at first sight like in the movies, it was something better, a recognition. As if my soul had said, "Ah, there you are. I was waiting for you." With Renata, everything flows. There's no drama, no ulterior motives. If something is wrong, we talk about it. If something is right, we celebrate it. She is my anchor. And then there's my family. My family is different. My mother, Teresa, is the sun around which we have all been forced to revolve. She is dramatic, loud, and her love is suffocating, conditional. Everything you do is a reflection of her. My father, Hugo, is a good man, I suppose, but he's a man who gave up his voice decades ago. He learned that peace in my mother's house is bought with silence and submission. He's the classic enabler, the passive accomplice. I have an older brother, Fernando, who is 36. Fernando is the successful one. He lives in his own world of meetings, business trips, and networking. He has always been distant, more concerned with his career than with family entanglements, unless they affect him directly. And finally, there's Beatriz, my younger sister, 27 years old, but mentally she's still 17. Beatriz is the princess of the house, my mother's golden child. She's the spoiled one, the one who has never worked a serious day in her life, the one who always gets what she wants through tantrums and tears. And me, I was always the peacemaker, the glue, the one who gave in. For as long as I can remember, my role was to calm the waters. I remember my 10th birthday. I wanted a chocolate cake. Beatriz, who was 5 at the time, threw herself on the floor screaming that she wanted a strawberry one. Guess what cake we had? Strawberry. My mother told me, "Oh, son, understand, she's your little sister, let her be happy." And I gave in, I always gave in. It was my job to swallow my own desires to maintain family peace. So when I decided to propose to Renata, I wasn't just choosing a wife, for the first time in my life, I was choosing myself. I took her to the park where we had our first real date, away from the blueprints and spreadsheets. I asked the classic question on one knee, with a ring I had saved for a year to buy. Her eyes filled with tears and she said, "Yes." In that moment, I felt a happiness so pure, so absolute, that I thought nothing could tarnish it. We called my family that night. The reactions were predictable. My mother screamed, "Finally. I was starting to think you were going to end up an old bachelor. We have to start planning the best wedding." Note, she said, "We have." My father congratulated me with his usual brief, quiet tone. Fernando sent me a text. "Congrats, bro. About time." Beatriz, for her part, sounded bored. "Oh, that's cool, little bro. Hey, did you see they're releasing a new season of my show?" She didn't even feign interest. I didn't care. I was on cloud 9. A few days later, Renata and I sat down with a bottle of wine and our laptops. "The date," she said, smiling. "There's only one," I replied. We both said it at the same time. May 24th. It was our anniversary. The day we met in that chaotic office. It fell on a Saturday next year. It was perfect, it was symbolic, it was ours. It wasn't a randomly chosen date, it was our date. That same week we found the venue, a beautiful garden on the outskirts of the city with a glass hall. It wasn't cheap, but it was worth every penny. We signed the contract and paid the deposit, 30%, which represented a good chunk of our savings. We were ecstatic. We had a venue, we had a sacred date. We were untouchable. How naive I was to think that anything of mine could be sacred to my family. We organized a dinner at our apartment. We wanted to celebrate, to officially announce the date to both families. Renata's parents, who are the warmest and most down-to-earth people in the world, were thrilled. They brought dessert and hugged us with genuine happiness. My family arrived late, as always. Fernando was glued to his phone, my mother was complaining about the traffic, and Beatriz was whining that her shoes hurt. "Well, family," I said, pouring the wine, "we want to make a toast. Renata and I are very excited to announce that we now have a date and a venue for the wedding. We're getting married on May 24th of next year." Renata's parents applauded. My father raised his glass. "Congratulations, kids." Fernando nodded distractedly. But Beatriz froze. She literally stopped with the glass halfway to her mouth. Her smile vanished and was replaced by an expression of pure disbelief. "What? What did you say?" she asked, her voice dangerously low. "May 24th, I repeated, my own smile beginning to falter. I saw my mother, Teresa, notice Beatriz's expression. My mother's radar is infallible. Her face went from festive to red alert in a millisecond. "What's wrong, my daughter?" she asked Beatriz. Beatriz slammed her glass down, making a dull thud on the table. "No, you can't." "I'm sorry," Renata said, confused. "You can't." Beatriz raised her voice. "You can't that weekend." My father sighed. "Beatriz, please, don't start." "No, Dad, you don't understand. That weekend is my trip to Cancun, the annual trip with the girls. We do it every year. We already paid for the all-inclusive at the Rio." "Are you kidding me, Carlos? Seriously?" I went cold. "Are you telling me to cancel my wedding for your trip to Cancun?" "I'm not asking you to cancel it," she yelled. "I'm telling you to move it. Any other weekend." "Why that one?" "Because it's our anniversary, Beatriz," I said, trying to stay calm. "It's the day we met. It's important to us." "Your anniversary," she scoffed. "How cheesy. My trip is with my friends. We already paid. I'm not going to lose 5,000 pesos on the hotel and the flight just because you decided to get married that day. It's super selfish of you, Carlos." I laughed. I couldn't help it. A dry, joyless laugh. "Beatriz, this is my wedding. A once-in-a-lifetime event. Yours is a drunken binge on the beach that you do every year. There's no comparison. I'm sorry they coincide, but we are not changing the date." Renata, at my side, was pale but firm. "Beatriz, we're sorry, but the date is already set. The venue is paid for." "I don't care." Beatriz sobbed, and the crocodile tears started to flow. "It's always the same thing. Nobody thinks about me. Mom." And there it was, the signal. My mother stood up. "Carlos, I think your sister has a point. It's a shame they coincide. Can't you be a little flexible?" "Flexible?" I replied, my voice rising. "We paid a huge deposit, Mom. The date is important. Why do I always have to be the flexible one? Why does my life always have to accommodate Beatriz's whims?" I remembered my strawberry cake. I remembered the 18th birthday party I cancelled for her concert. I remembered the car my father was going to lend me for college, which Beatriz ended up using because she needed it more, to go out with her friends. My entire life had been a series of concessions to her. "I'm not changing the date," I said, my voice louder than I intended. End of discussion. Beatrice let out a choked cry, got up, and ran out of the apartment. "I hate you," she screamed from the hallway. My mother shot me a murderous look. "Fix this, Carlos," she hissed. Then she went after her princess. My father looked at us with pity. "Geez, what a mess," he muttered, and followed them. Fernando had already left, probably halfway through the argument, without saying goodbye. Renata's parents were looking at us with a mixture of horror and pity. The celebratory dinner had turned into the first act of a war. I didn't have to wait 24 hours. The next day, Sunday morning, my phone started ringing. It was my mother. Renata saw me, sighed, and placed a cup of coffee in front of me. "Get ready," she said. I took a deep breath and answered. "Carlos Daniel Garcia," she began, using my full name. "Bad sign. I can't believe the shame you put me through last night, and I can't believe how cruel you were to your sister." "I was the cruel one, Mom." "Me?" I replied, trying to keep my voice level. "Of course you were. Your sister is devastated. She hasn't stopped crying all night. She's inconsolable. Do you think that's fair? Do you think it's being a good brother to make her choose between her only brother's wedding and a trip she's been planning for 6 months? Mom, it's a beach party. It's a party trip. This is my wedding. Are you really asking me to put those two things on the same scale? Don't talk to me about a party trip," she screamed. "It's her tradition. Tradition is important. Family is important. Or at least it was. Clearly, since you've been with that woman, your priorities have changed." There it was, the low blow. The venom directed at Renata. "Don't you dare bring Renata into this, Mom. She has nothing to do with it. This decision is mine. The date is important to both of us." "Important? More important than your only sister? More important than the peace of your family? Carlos, I'm asking you, please, as your mother. Move the date. 1 weekend. What difference does 1 weekend make? The venue has to understand if you explain it's a family emergency." "It is not a family emergency." I exploded. "It's a tantrum from Beatrice. A whim. And you know what, Mom? I'm sick of it. I'm sick of her whims being family emergencies and my important moments being flexible. I am not changing the date. Beatrice has 2 options, either she cancels her trip and comes to her brother's wedding, or she goes to Cancun and misses it. It's her decision." There was an icy silence on the other end of the line. I could hear my mother's ragged breathing. "So that's it," she said, her voice now dangerously calm, devoid of emotion. "You're choosing that woman over your own blood. Very well. Very well, Carlos. But let me tell you something. Girlfriends come and go. Blood is forever. And one day, when that little woman leaves you, you're going to come looking for us. And I don't know if we'll be there for you. You're making a terrible mistake. You're breaking this family. You and Beatrice are breaking this family over a party," I shot back, my voice trembling with rage. "Think about it, Carlos. Think carefully. Do you really want to start your marriage like this? With your family's curse? Without our blessing? If your blessing depends on me ruining my wedding for a trip to Cancun, then you know what? I don't want it." I hung up. I stood there, trembling, with the phone in my hand. My family's curse. Seriously. Renata came up and hugged me from behind. She rested her chin on my shoulder. "You were incredible," she whispered. "But this is just the beginning, isn't it?" I nodded. "This is just the warm-up. You don't know her. Now comes the guilt trip bombing." I decided I needed allies, or at least some common sense. I naively thought that my older brother and my father, away from my mother's immediate drama, might see the logic. I called Fernando first. I caught him between meetings. "What's up, Carlos?" "Hey, I had to leave yesterday." It got intense. That was all he said, in that executive tone of analyzing a problem without getting involved. Intense is an understatement, Fernando. Beatriz is throwing a monumental tantrum and Mom is backing her up. They're demanding I change my wedding date for her beach trip. There was a pause. I could hear typing in the background. Geez, bro. What can I say? Bad timing. Awful. Is that all you're going to say? I need your support. You're my older brother. I need you to talk to them, to tell them they're being ridiculous. Another sigh. Look, Carlos, the thing is, I already checked my schedule. And what do you know? I felt a pit in my stomach. Don't tell me. Yeah, that same weekend is the annual corporate retreat. It's in Valle de Bravo. The big shots from New York are coming. The global CEO will be there. It's non-negotiable, Carlos. It's my bonus, it's my evaluation. I can't miss it. Really, what fucking bad luck. I was silent. How much bad luck can you have, or how convenient could it be? So, I continued, you're not coming to my wedding either. No, don't say that. It's complicated. His tone became conspiratorial. Hey, honestly, between us, it's better for you to move it. I mean, you get Beatriz off your back, and that way I can go too. Think about it. Sometimes it's easier, to be flexible, to keep the peace. Be flexible, I repeated, my voice dead. Right. Thanks for the advice, Fernando. Great support. I hung up before he could reply. Be flexible. Keep the peace. It was my family's anthem. The anthem that meant Carlos gets screwed. That afternoon I went to my parents' house. I knew my mother and Beatriz would be out shopping or something, licking their wounds. I found my father in the garage, fixing something that wasn't broken. His hideout. Dad, I said bluntly. We need to talk. He put the tool down on the table. He didn't look at me. Geez, son. What a mess, huh? It's not a mess, Dad. It's blackmail, and Mom is allowing it. And so are you. Do you really think it's okay for them to demand this of me? Do you really think a party is more important than my wedding? He finally looked at me, and I saw what I always saw in him, exhaustion, a deep, ingrained cowardice. Carlos, you know how your mother is. And your sister, well, she has the same character. They're temperamental, passionate. Don't call them passionate, Dad. They're selfish and manipulative. And you never stand up to them. You've never defended me, not once. He looked down. It's not easy, son. You don't live here. I have to deal with them every day. Do you know what this house is like when your mother gets angry? It's hell. Sometimes. Sometimes it's just easier if you give in. It always has been. It's easier if I give in, I repeated, incredulous. So that's my job. To be the fuse that blows so the house doesn't explode. To sacrifice my happiness so you can live in peace. Carlos, don't see it like that. I'm just asking you, think about it. What's one weekend to you? How much can a single day matter? The wedding is the wedding, but family. Family is forever. I turned away. I can't believe I'm hearing this. You're just like Fernando. I'm not like Fernando. I do care, he said, raising his voice for the first time. No, you don't care. You care about yourself, about your own comfort. Well, congratulations, Dad. Keep your peace. I'll keep my wedding. I left. In the car, I punched the steering wheel. I was completely alone in this. My two male allies had turned their backs on me, advising me to surrender. I got home and found Renata on the couch with a blanket. She had bought ice cream, my favorite. "How did it go?" she asked. I didn't say anything. I just sat down and put my head in her lap. She stroked my hair. "I know," she said. "They're cowards. But you're not alone. You have me. And we are a team. And our team doesn't give in." In that moment, I knew I was marrying the right woman. And I knew my family of origin was more broken than I had ever imagined. The next phase of the war was direct emotional blackmail, and this time my mother decided she needed a coordinated attack. A few days of unbearable tension passed. Beatriz, of course, had blocked me on all social media, but not before posting about 10 Instagram stories with phrases like, "Sometimes your family is the one that stabs you in the back the most," and "learning to value those who are actually there for you." It was pathetic. My mother, on the other hand, activated her network of gossipy aunts. Suddenly, my Aunt Lulu called me just to say hi and casually mentioned, "Hey, son, I heard you're having some problems. Your mom is very sad. You should call her. Family comes first." But the masterstroke came on a Wednesday night. My mother called me. Her tone wasn't angry or sad, it was formal. "Carlos, come to the house tomorrow at 8. We're having dinner. We need to talk about this like a civilized family. It's urgent." My first alarm bell went off. "Will Renata be there?" I asked. Silence. "No, Carlos. This is just family. Blood matters. It's important that you come alone. Please, do it for me." Second alarm bell. "Mom, Renata is my family. If this is about the wedding, she needs to be there. For the love of God, Carlos, stop being so difficult. Just come," and she hung up. I talked to Renata. "It's a trap," she said. "Obviously, it's a trap." "I know," I replied, "but if I don't go, they'll use it against me. They'll say I didn't even want to talk. I have to go. But I'm not giving in." So I went. Alone. Like an idiot. I walked into my parents' house at 8 o'clock sharp. The atmosphere was so thick you could cut it with a knife. The dining table was set, but no one was eating. My mother was sitting at the head of the table like a queen on her throne. Beatriz was beside her with red, swollen eyes. She had clearly been crying, or chopping onions, all afternoon. My father, Hugo, was in his usual armchair in the corner, pretending to read the newspaper. And on the coffee table was the speakerphone. "Hello, Carlos," my mother said in a sepulchral tone. "Your brother is on the line." "Carlos," came Fernando's metallic voice from the speaker. "Good of you to join us. It was a fucking ambush. A tribunal. What is this, Mom? A trial?" I said, crossing my arms. "It's an intervention, Carlos," said Beatriz, her voice trembling with feigned anger. "Because we don't understand what's wrong with you." My mother raised a hand. "Beatriz, please. Let's talk calmly. Carlos, sit down." I didn't sit. "Son," my mother began, clasping her hands. "We are very worried about you. This stubbornness of yours isn't healthy. Your brother, your father, and I have been talking, and we all agree that you are making a terrible mistake." "A mistake?" I repeated. "Yes," screamed Beatriz. "You're choosing a stupid date over your only sister." "Fernando," my mother said, ignoring Beatriz, "tell your brother what you told me." Fernando cleared his throat over the phone. "Look, bro, what Mom is saying is that you're making things very difficult. My retreat is non-negotiable. Beatrice's thing, well, you know how she is, but she already paid. You're putting everyone in an impossible position. You're being unreasonable. I'm the unreasonable one, I said, feeling the adrenaline rise. She asks me to move my wedding for a party. You tell me your bonus is more important. And you too, I pointed to my parents, tell me that my happiness doesn't matter as long as Beatrice doesn't throw a tantrum. It's not a tantrum. Beatrice whined. It's my tradition, and you're ruining it. You hate me. And then there's Renata, my mother said, her voice turning to pure poison. We know she's putting these ideas in your head. You weren't like this before. You used to care about your family. That woman is poisoning you against your own blood. That was it. The rope snapped. Enough. I yelled, and my voice echoed in the room. My father flinched. Enough. Don't you dare talk about Renata like that ever again. She is 1,000 times more family than you have ever been. I walked towards the table. Renata is the only one who has supported me. All you know how to do is demand. You, I pointed at Beatrice, are a 27-year-old spoiled brat who thinks the world revolves around her. You, I pointed at the speakerphone for Fernando, are a selfish coward who hides behind his job. You, I pointed at my father, are a pathetic accomplice who would rather watch me get attacked than raise his voice. And you, I faced my mother, are a manipulator, a narcissist who can't stand it when something doesn't revolve around you. The silence was total. Beatrice looked at me with pure hatred. My father was pale. My mother looked at me as if I had slapped her. The wedding, I said, my voice now low and trembling with fury, is on May 24th. Whoever wants to come is welcome. Whoever doesn't can go to hell. I turned to leave. If you walk out that door, Carlos, my mother screamed, you can forget you have a family. You can forget about us. I stopped. I turned around slowly. You all forgot you had a son and a brother the moment you decided a party in Cancun was more important than my wedding. I left the house. The slam of the door made the glass in the entryway vibrate. I got in my car, and for the first time in my life, I didn't feel guilt or remorse. I felt freedom. A terrifying, but real, freedom. After the intervention, the silence became absolute. It wasn't an uncomfortable silence, it was the silence of war, a declared Cold War. The days turned into weeks. Renata and I immersed ourselves in the wedding details, the flowers, the music, the food. It was bittersweet. Every decision we made came with a pang of sadness. Do you think your mom would have liked this centerpiece? Renata asked me once. My mom would have liked any centerpiece, as long as she was the one who chose it, I replied bitterly. We knew the Facebook bomb was imminent. And it came. A cousin sent me a screenshot. It was a long post from my mother. It wasn't subtle. It was a public declaration of war. It is the greatest pain a mother can feel, it began. When you give your entire life, your sacrifices, your unconditional love to a son, and you see how one day, under the influence of a stranger, he turns his back on you. You see how he forgets his roots, how he despises his own blood, how he chooses selfishness over the family that raised him. Sometimes children are ungrateful. Sometimes the people you bring into this world are the ones who stab you with the deepest dagger. I only ask God to give me strength and to one day enlighten him so he may see the terrible mistake he is making. In the meantime, my mother's heart is broken into 1,000 pieces. It was a masterpiece of victimhood. And the comments. Oh, the comments. A horde of gossipy aunts and my mother's friends who had no idea of the real story came out to support her. Strength, tear. You are an exemplary mother. How awful. Kids these days have no values. Friend, sometimes you have to let them go. He'll come crawling back. What a bad woman he got involved with. She must have brainwashed him. And of course, Beatrice's comment, the cherry on top, I love you, Mommy. You are the strongest and best woman in the world. Don't listen to them. The truth always comes to light. Those of us who love you are with you. I felt suffocated. I felt exposed, slandered. I wanted to go on there and write the truth, to expose them. No, Renata said firmly, taking the phone from me. No. Don't stoop to their level. It's their circus. Let them be the only clowns. Anyone who knows you, Carlos, will know that's a lie. I took a deep breath. She was right. I blocked the ants who commented. I moved on with my life. A few weeks later, it was time to send the invitations. It was difficult. We made the piles, friends, Renata's family, and then the small pile for my family. Should we? I asked Renata, holding the 4 ivory-colored invitations. The one for my parents, for Fernando, for Beatriz. Yes, she said. Do it. Let it not be said that you didn't try. So they can never say you didn't invite them. Send them. It's the last gesture. The ball is in their court. So I sent them. I put them in the mailbox with a knot in my stomach. It was an olive branch, a final, tiny hope that they would come to their senses. The response didn't take long. About 2 weeks later, the RSVP envelopes started arriving. We checked the mailbox every day with a mix of excitement and panic. The one from my aunt and uncle in Guadalajara arrived. Confirmed. See you there. The one from my cousins arrived. Congratulations. We wouldn't miss it. And then, 2 envelopes arrived that I recognized instantly. I opened the first. The address was written in Fernando's quick, executive handwriting. Inside, just the elegantly printed response card and a single mark from a thick, black Montblanc pen in the "Declines with Regret" box. Not a note, not a text message, not a phone call. A cold, corporate no. It hurt, but I expected it. I opened the second. Beatrice's handwriting, bubbly, childlike. She had drawn a little sad face next to her name, and the "Declines with Regret" box was checked, not with a normal pen. She had filled it in with a pink glitter gel pen. It was a mockery. It was a, look how cute I am while I spit in your face. I laughed. A dry laugh. Of course. With glitter. And your parents? Renata asked. Nothing. Their envelope never arrived. They didn't confirm, they didn't decline. They simply ignored the invitation. They left me in limbo in their final power play, assuming their silence was the ultimate punishment, that I would crawl back, that I would beg them. I took the 2 decline cards, the executive one and the glittery one, and I stuck them on the refrigerator. There, I told Renata. So I don't forget. So every morning when I pour my coffee, I remember exactly who I'm dealing with. Good, she said. Now, what do you think of a jazz trio for the cocktail hour? Hey, if you're feeling Carlos's frustration right now, leave us a like on the video. It really helps us out. And if you're new here, consider subscribing to the channel. We're telling the best family drama stories. And comment below from which city you're listening. We love to read where you're from. Every comment helps this story reach more people. Thanks for your support, and let's continue with the story because this is just getting good. May 24th. The day arrived. I woke up in the hotel suite we had booked to get ready. It was 6 in the morning. The sun was just beginning to paint the sky. For a second, I felt absolute calm. Today I was marrying Renata. And then I remembered. I grabbed my phone from the nightstand. The screen was dark. I opened it. 0 new messages. 0 missed calls. Nothing. Not a "good luck," not a "we're thinking of you," not a "son, we've reconsidered." Nothing. There was a part of me, a small, naive part, the 10-year-old boy who wanted his chocolate cake, that had hoped they would wake up today and say, "It's our son's/brother's wedding. We can't miss it." How stupid. Just as I was about to put the phone down, it vibrated. My heart jumped so hard it hurt. I picked it up with trembling hands. A text message from my father. I opened it. "Son, I'm sorry. Your mother and your sister. I just can't go. Be happy." And that was it. The final surrender. Cowardice distilled into 9 words. Not even a fight, just an "I give up." I felt a wave of. It wasn't rage. It was a deep pity. Pity for him, for the weak man he had become. I deleted the message. The rest of the morning was a whirlwind. Renata's parents arrived. Her father gave me a bear hug. "Ready, son? Today's the day. Son." He called me son. My brothers-in-law arrived with coffee and jokes. The atmosphere was pure joy. I tried to immerse myself in it. The moment came. I was standing at the altar. The garden was spectacular. The scent of the flowers Renata had chosen, gardenias, filled the air. The music was playing. I saw my friends, my cousins. And then I looked to the left, my side of the family. I saw my aunt and uncle from Guadalajara, my cousins. And then the front row we had reserved. For empty white chairs waiting for my parents, Fernando, and Beatriz. For empty chairs that screamed louder than all the music. I felt a lump in my throat, a sharp, physical pain in my chest. It wasn't just anger, it was grief. It was mourning for the family I thought I had, the family that should have been there. It was the public, visual acceptance of my abandonment. They had abandoned me. I was trying to breathe, trying not to break down, when the music changed. The bridal march. And I saw her. Renata, on her father's arm. She looked. There are no words. She radiated light. Her smile was so bright it eclipsed everything else. And her eyes never left mine. She walked towards me, and with every step, the 4 empty chairs became smaller, more insignificant. When she reached the altar, her father gave her to me. He hugged me first. "Welcome to the family, Carlos," he whispered. "Today I don't gain a son-in-law, I gain the son I always wanted. Take care of her." I almost broke down right there. I took Renata's hands. They were trembling a little. Or maybe mine were. "Hi," she whispered. "Hi," I replied. I don't remember much of what the officiant said. I just remember looking at her. I remember thinking, they aren't here, but she is, and she is all that matters. I said my vows with a firm voice, a firmness I didn't know I had. I promise to be your team, your anchor, and your home. I promise to always put you first. And I said it looking at her, but thinking of them. It was a promise to her and a declaration to the world. When the officiant said, "You may kiss the bride," and I kissed her, the world erupted in applause. And in that moment, the pain was gone. The chairs were still empty, but I didn't care about them anymore. I was whole. The reception was magical. The tension was broken. Renata's family completely absorbed us. Her uncles told me jokes. Her cousins danced with my friends. It was a real party. Renata's father gave a speech. He raised his glass. "They say blood makes you related, but loyalty makes you family," he said, looking directly at me. And today, this family could not be prouder to welcome a man with as much loyalty, love, and integrity as Carlos. Cheers to my new son. I cried. I couldn't help it. Renata squeezed my hand. We were sitting at the head table, laughing at something her grandmother said, when I saw a woman run into the hall. She was flustered, her hair messy, wearing a colorful dress I recognized. It took me a second. Aunt Lucia. She was my mother's younger sister. My favorite aunt, the black sheep of the family, the one who always told my mother the truth. I hadn't invited her so as not to put her in an uncomfortable position with Teresa. I jumped up and ran towards her. Carlitos, she yelled, using my childhood nickname. She hugged me with a force that knocked the wind out of me. I wouldn't have missed this for anything in the world, my boy. Congratulations, and I'm sorry I'm late. That witch of a mother of yours told me it was next weekend. I found out the truth this morning from your cousin Laura. I caught the first bus I could find. Auntie. I was overwhelmed. Shoo, she hushed me. Don't say anything. I'm so ashamed of Teresa. What an atrocity. To leave her only son standing at the altar over a tantrum from that spoiled child. It's the last straw. But look, she took my face in her hands. You're here. And that woman, Renata, is beautiful. And this place is full of people who love you. That's what matters. Now give me a drink and take me dancing. Her arrival was a bomb. It was proof that not all of my blood was tainted. The party continued. Later that night, one of my distant cousins, one of the few from my side who came, approached me. He looked uncomfortable. Hey, Carlos, congratulations. Really, the wedding is amazing. Thanks for coming, cousin. It means a lot. Yeah. Hey, look, this is weird. But your parents looked for me yesterday. They asked me to. Well, to give you this. He handed me an envelope. A plain white envelope, a cheap greeting card type. My name was written in my mother's elegant handwriting. My heart stopped. What is it? I don't know. They just asked me to give it to you. I took it. Thanks. I walked away to a quiet corner, away from the noise. Renata saw me and came over. Everything okay? I don't know. It's from my parents. I opened the envelope in front of her. Inside were two things. A generic card with some flowers printed on it. I opened it. Inside, my mother's calligraphy, we hope that one day you will learn the true value of family. And a check. A check from my father's bank, in my name, for the amount of 5,000 pesos. 5,000 pesos. I stared at the number. 5,000 pesos. It was less than the cake had cost. It was less than what Beatriz spent on a night out. It was. It was an insult. It was a slap in the face. It was, this is what you're worth to us. Renata looked at the check over my shoulder. Her face, which had been radiant all night, hardened. She didn't say a word. She took the check from my hands, took the card, walked calmly to one of the decorative candles on the gift table, and methodically lit the corner of the check on fire. She held it as the flame consumed my father's name, the insulting amount. She dropped it onto an empty metal plate just before it burned her fingers. She did the same with the card. We watched the words, value of family, curl up and turn to black ash. Then she dusted off her hands, turned to me, and smiled. Trash, burned, she said. Now, let's go dance. It's our wedding. 2 days later, we were on a plane to the Riviera Maya, a real beach, one that was actually worth it. Our honeymoon. We made an executive decision, turn off our phones for the first 3 days. No Wi-Fi, no messages, no emails, no family. Just us, the turquoise sea, and unlimited margaritas. They were the 3 most perfect days of my life. The stress of the past few months melted away. The toxicity of my family felt a million miles away. We talked, we laughed, we ate until we were stuffed, we made plans, we talked about the house we wanted to buy, the children we would have. We built our future, word by word, far from the ruins of my past. On the fourth day, we were having chilaquiles on our room's balcony, watching the sea. I think it's time, Renata said. Just to let my parents know we're alive and well. Okay, I said with a sigh. But only 5 minutes. We turned on our phones. It was a catastrophic mistake. The instant my phone connected to the hotel's Wi-Fi, it went crazy. It was like it was having an epileptic seizure. It vibrated and pinged non-stop for almost a full minute. An avalanche of notifications, 42 WhatsApp messages, 15 missed calls, 20 Facebook notifications. What the hell? I muttered, my breakfast turning to acid in my stomach. Renata's phone was the same. She looked at me, pale. Oh, no. I opened WhatsApp. It was the family group, the Garcias, which my Aunt Lucia had added me back to. The group name was flashing with 28 new messages. It was a battlefield. My Aunt Lucia had posted a photo of her and me at the wedding, smiling, with the caption, celebrating my favorite nephew, Carlos, and his beautiful wife, Renata. Long live the newlyweds. Below that photo, all hell had broken loose. My mother, Teresa, had replied, "What a traitor you are, Lucia. How fake. Going behind my back to mock my pain. You are a Judas. I hope he paid you well for your betrayal." Beatriz followed, "Old viper, you are nothing to our family. Get out of here." Aunt Lucia, who doesn't back down from anyone, replied, "Teresa, please, act like an adult. I went to my nephew's wedding. The one you abandoned for a tantrum from this spoiled brat. You should be ashamed. You're crazy." And on it went, uncles trying to mediate, my mother insulting everyone who liked Lucia's photo. And then I saw the direct messages. They were for my mother, but they weren't for me. I looked at Renata. She was reading her own phone with an expression of absolute disgust. "Carlos, you have to see this." She handed me her phone. My mother, seeing that I wasn't responding, had decided to attack my wife. They were Instagram messages, one after another. "You're a gold digger. You must have brainwashed him. How much did he cost you? How much did he pay you to destroy my family? Viper. Son stealer. Enjoy it while it lasts. Blood always calls, and you will never be blood. I hope you're very unhappy. You deserve it, you bitch." I was breathless. The venom, the pure evil. I looked at Renata. She was calm, terrifyingly calm. She took her phone from my hands and started typing. She took a screenshot of the worst insult, bitch, sent it back to my mother, and wrote a single message, "Ma'am, good morning. We are enjoying our honeymoon, thank you for asking." With every word you write, you only confirm to us that Carlos made the right decision in choosing me and leaving your toxicity behind. I wish you peace. In the meantime, you will be blocked. She sent the message and blocked her. From Instagram, from WhatsApp, from Facebook. "What did you do?" I asked, amazed. "I took out the trash," she said, and placed the phone face down on the table. "Now, can you pass me the green salsa? These chilaquiles aren't going to eat themselves." In that moment, I fell in love with her all over again. And I knew that my mother, Teresa, had crossed a line she could never come back from. We returned from the honeymoon feeling like war veterans. We had survived the wedding, the digital attack. We felt invincible, united. The silence that followed was a bomb. We moved into a new apartment, a little farther from my parents' house. A literal new beginning. I blocked my mother and Beatriz from my phone. I permanently left the family group chat. My life became peaceful. Terrifyingly peaceful. Several weeks passed. One Saturday afternoon, I was home alone. Renata had gone out with her friends. The doorbell rang. I wasn't expecting anyone. I looked through the peephole. It was my father. Hugo. My first instinct was not to open, to just stay still until he left. But the peacemaker inside me, that idiot who refuses to die, made me open the door. He looked terrible. He had aged 10 years in 2 months. He was thinner, more stooped. He had terrible dark circles under his eyes. "Dad," I said, without emotion. I didn't invite him in. "Carlos, son. Can I come in, please? Just for a minute." His voice was a hoarse whisper. I sighed and stepped aside. He came in and stood in the middle of the living room, looking around as if he were in a museum. "Nice place," he said. "What do you want, Dad?" He sat on the edge of the sofa without taking off his coat. He rubbed his hands nervously. "Son, things at home are very bad. Very, very bad." "Oh, really?" I said, crossing my arms. "What a shame." "No, Carlos, seriously. Your mother isn't the same. She's furious all the time. She either doesn't talk or she yells. Beatriz is the same. They spend all their time locked in their rooms. The house is. It's hell. It's a horrible silence." I stared at him. "And you come here? Why? Do you expect me to go and apologize to them for getting married?" "No, no," he said, looking up, and I saw desperation in his eyes. "I came because I know they went too far. Your mother and your sister went too far. I know it. What they said to Renata, what they did with your wedding. It was wrong. Very wrong." It was the first time I had heard him admit it. A small part of me felt something. Hope. "And?" I asked. "And? I just came to see how you were. To tell you that I know it wasn't right. And that's it? You came to give me a damage report and say, geez, that was really bad. Does that make you feel better about yourself, Dad?" He looked down. "I don't know what you want me to do, Carlos. I want you to do something." I exploded, the frustration of months boiling over. "I want you to stop being a fucking coward. I want you to act like my father for once in your life." Renata walked in at that moment. She had arrived without me hearing her. She saw my father, saw my face, and knew exactly what was happening. She left her bag by the entrance. "Mr. Hugo," she said, her voice as cold as steel. What a surprise. My father flinched. "Renata, hello. I was just leaving." "No," I told him. "You're staying. You said you knew it was wrong. You want to prove it. You want to fix something." He looked at me, scared. "It's easy. Take out your phone. Now." He looked at me, confused. He took out his cell phone. "Perfect. Now call Aunt Lucia and apologize. Apologize for how Teresa treated her, for how they insulted her for coming to my wedding. Tell her that you are on my side and that what they did was a disgrace. Do it. In front of me." My father froze. He looked at the phone as if it were a snake. "What? Carlos, don't ask me to do that. Your mother. If she finds out, she'll kill me. It would be adding more fuel to the fire. I can't do that. It's complicated." And there it was. The truth. His cowardice was greater than any love or regret he might feel. I walked over and opened the door to my apartment. "Get out, Dad." Son, please, understand. Get out. And don't come back. Don't come back here to complain about a hell you allowed to be created. Don't come back here asking me for peace when you never gave it to me. Go. He stood up, defeated. He walked towards the door. Before leaving, he turned. Carlos, it was just a vacation. No, Dad. It was never about the vacation. It was always about respect. And you all showed that you have none for me. I closed the door. Renata hugged me. You did the right thing, she said. I'm so proud of you. I held on to her. The last bridge to my past had been burned, and this time, I was the one who lit the match. Months passed. The silence became my new normal. It was a healthy silence. My life with Renata flourished. We focused on our work, on our home. We started saving to buy a house. Life without drama was incredible. My only contact with that world was Aunt Lucia, who came for lunch every other Sunday, and Fernando. My older brother and I started talking again. First, tentative texts about soccer, then a phone call. He invited me for coffee. It was awkward at first. But we talked. Look, Carlos, he said. I fucked up. I was a coward. I was so caught up in my corporate bubble that I didn't want any trouble. And I left you alone. I'm sorry, bro. It was a real apology. I accepted it. We started to rebuild, slowly. He became friends with Renata. He saw how happy I was. He saw she wasn't some viper. One day, Aunt Lucia arrived for our Sunday lunch with a look on her face I didn't recognize. A mix of amusement and horror. You won't believe the latest, kids, she said, pouring herself a glass of water. What happened, Auntie? Renata asked. Guess who's getting married? We looked at each other. Mom. I joked. Worse, she laughed. Beatriz. I choked on my food. What? Beatriz? But when did she get a boyfriend? That's the joke, Lucia said. Apparently she met him 6 months ago in a bar. 6 months, and they're already getting married. Next month. 6 months. Renata said, astonished. That's impulsive. Impulsive is an understatement, my aunt said. And the guy? Well, your cousin Laura saw him, says he's a weird guy, older than her, very full of himself, very arrogant. But, she lowered her voice, they say he has a ton of money. A trust fund kid from a rich family. And your mother, Teresa, is fascinated. She already feels like she's in high society. She's already planning the wedding of the century. Renata and I looked at each other. Wow, I said. Well, good for her, I guess. I wish her luck. She's going to need it. I didn't think any more of it. It was her life, her circus. Until a week later, my phone vibrated. An unknown number. Hi, brother. My heart skipped a beat. It was Beatriz. She had unblocked me. I know it's been a long time, and I know things ended weirdly, but I'm in a new stage of my life. I'm very happy. I'm getting married. And well, you're my only brother, and I would really like you to be there. I looked at the message, showed it to Renata. She raised an eyebrow. I don't know, I said. I didn't reply. 2 days later, another unknown number. I answered on reflex, thinking it was work. Carlos, son, it's me. Your mother. Her voice. I hadn't heard it in almost a year. It was sweet, falsely, cloyingly sweet, like rancid honey. What do you want, Mom? I said, my voice flat. Oh, son, it's so good to hear your voice. Don't be so cold. I'm calling with wonderful news. Your little sister is getting married. We are so happy. To a wonderful man, Carlos. A real catch, an incredible family. I heard, I said. Congratulations. Thank you, my love. And well, that's why I was calling. Well, Beatriz is a little stressed. You know, these high society weddings are so expensive. The dress, the venue. And her poor fiancé is paying for almost everything. And I was thinking, well, you're her older brother, and you're doing so well now, thank God. Fernando already said he's going to contribute a part, and I thought maybe you could help her, you know, support her so she can have the wedding of her dreams, like the one you had. There it was, the hook. The real reason. It wasn't reconciliation. It was a damn transaction. I laughed. A short, bitter laugh. No, I said. No. What, son? I'm not giving you a single cent, Mom. Not one. Is that all you wanted? Carlos. But it's your sister. You can't be so resentful. It's for the family. Her voice started to rise. No. Goodbye, Mom. I hung up and blocked that number too. They want money, I said to Renata, who was looking at me with a sad smile. Of course they want money, she said. It's the only thing they understand. I thought that would be the end of it. I thought my firm no to the money would be enough. How naive. The cherry on top was still missing. The invitation was missing. A week later, it arrived. And it wasn't a simple envelope. It was a box. An ivory-colored box wrapped in a silk ribbon with our initials engraved in gold wax. Shit, Renata said, looking at it on the table. They spent more on this invitation than they gave you as a wedding gift. I don't want to open it, I said, feeling a wave of nausea. We have to, she said. We have to know what we're up against. With a sigh, I broke the silk seal. Inside, on a bed of tissue paper, was the invitation. It was thick acrylic with engraved gold letters. It was the most ostentatious, tacky thing I had ever seen. Beatriz Garcia and Alejandro de la Vega, of course he had to have a name like that, request the honor of our presence at their wedding at an exclusive golf club. Black tie. Alejandro de la Vega, Renata scoffed. Sounds like a soap opera villain. They're going to spend a fortune they don't have, I muttered. But that wasn't all. As soon as I opened the box, my phone vibrated, as if it were coordinated. A very long message from Beatriz. I opened it and had to sit down. I read the message out loud to Renata. Carlos, I hope you received the invitation. Alejandro and I wanted something special. I know you didn't reply to my last message and I know you didn't speak nicely with my mom on the phone. And I get it, I really do. I understand you're still hurt. I've been thinking a lot this past year. I've matured. Love makes you mature. And I realize that things with your wedding. Well, they got out of control. I will admit my part. Maybe I was a little intense about my trip. And Mom, well, Mom was just defending me. She's a lioness. But I've talked a lot with Ale, and he has made me see things differently. He's made me see that family is the most important thing and that resentment only poisons the soul. So I want you to know something, and I want you to take it with an open heart, as a gesture of my new maturity and because I want us to start over. I am willing to be the bigger person. I am willing to get over it. I hope you and Renata come to my wedding. It will be the most important day of my life, and it would hurt me a lot if my only brother wasn't there. It's going to be an incredible party, I swear. And if you come, if you support me on my day and we celebrate this new beginning together, I promise that I will forgive you. I forgive you for all the drama you caused. I forgive you for making me feel so bad, for dividing the family, for yelling at me. I will wipe the slate clean. Think about it, Carlos. It's a golden opportunity for us to go back to being the family we were before. Don't waste it. With love, your sister, Beatriz. When I finished reading, the room was in absolute silence. I looked at Renata. Renata looked at me. And then it happened. I started to laugh. It wasn't a chuckle. It was a full-throated laugh, a loud, deep laugh that came from the bottom of my soul. A laugh that made me double over, that brought tears to my eyes. I was laughing so hard my stomach hurt. What? What's so funny? Renata asked, trying to contain her own laughter. That she forgives us, I managed to say between gasps. That we caused the drama? Oh my God. It's a masterpiece. The audacity. The fucking audacity. It's almost admirable. I laughed for a full minute. The tension, the anger, the frustration of over a year, it all came out in that laugh. It was the most absurd, most narcissistic, most ridiculous thing I had ever read. Wipe the slate clean, Renata said, smiling. Go back to being the family you were before. So what? So they can stomp all over you again? My laughter stopped abruptly. It turned into a cold, clear rage. You're right, I said. I got up, went to the study, searched my desk. I came back with the acrylic RSVP card and a permanent marker. A thick, black, industrial one. What are you going to do? Renata asked. I'm going to reply, I said. On the elegant acrylic card, on the line that said, names of guests, I wrote in big, ugly letters, Carlos and Renata. And then, in the declines with regret box, I didn't put a check mark. I filled it in. I scribbled over it again and again with fury until the golden box was completely black and smudged. There, I said, admiring my work. I think that's clear. Wait, Renata said. She went to the kitchen. She came back with the ashes of the card and check from our wedding, which she had saved in a small Ziploc bag. What? I asked her. Put this in the return envelope, she said with a malicious grin. Like confetti? I looked at her and realized once again that she was a genius. We put the scribbled-on acrylic card and the little bag of ashes into the prepaid return envelope. I personally went to the mailbox and dropped it in. The sound it made was the most satisfying sound in the world. The response can't have taken more than a day to arrive. And I assume they opened the envelope. I assume they saw the ashes. Because my phone rang that same afternoon. An unknown number, obviously. I answered. I put it on speaker so Renata could hear the show. You are a cynical bastard. That was the greeting. Not even a hello. It was Teresa, and she sounded apoplectic, like she was about to have a stroke. Mom, I said in the calmest, most bored voice I could muster. What's up? What a surprise. What's up? What's up, you say? I received your insult, your mockery. What does this mean, Carlos? What are these? These ashes? You're sick. Oh, the RSVP arrived, I said, as if it were nothing. The mail is so efficient. Well, it means what the card says, Mom. We decline. We're not going. Thanks for the invitation, anyway. Don't you dare. You can't do this to me. You can't do this to your sister, she screamed so loud I had to move the phone away. It's her day. It's the most important day of her life. We were giving you a chance to fix things, to come back. And you spit in our faces. Let me get this straight, Mom, I said, my voice dropping a tone, becoming cold. For my wedding, the most important event of my life, you were all too busy. You had a beach party, you had a corporate retreat. You told me I was selfish. You insulted me. You insulted my wife. You abandoned me at the altar. You sent me a 5,000 fucking peso check and told me I had to learn the value of family. Don't you dare bring that up. That was different, she shrieked. Different? Why? Because it's not Beatriz. And now, after months of treating us like garbage, after Beatriz has the nerve to say she forgives me, you, Teresa, call me demanding that I go to her wedding? Can't you hear yourself? Don't you realize how ridiculous, how hypocritical you sound? There was a silence charged with fury. I could hear her ragged breathing. Then she changed tactics. The crying. Son, she started to sob, a pitiful, fake cry. Please, don't do this to her. You'll break your little sister's heart. She's your blood. She's your only sister. Are you really going to be so resentful? Are you going to let your pride destroy what little we have left? Please, do it for me. I'm begging you. Just come. Show that you're the man I raised. It was the last card. The final manipulation. The guilt. I looked at Renata. She was looking at me, serious. She nodded slightly, as if to say, you've got this. I remembered the 4 empty chairs. I remembered the burned check. I remembered the word, bitch, directed at my wife. No, I said. What? She whispered. I said no. I'm not going. Carlos, please. And I'm going to tell you something else, Mom. And I want you to listen carefully. I took a deep breath. Don't even dream of it. What did you say? I said, don't even dream of it. Not you, not her, not my father, not Fernando if he's involved. We are not going. Don't count on us. Don't call us again. Don't look for us again. We're done. And I hung up. I immediately blocked the number. I turned around. Renata had a smile so big it lit up her whole face. She threw herself at me, hugging me. That's my husband, she yelled. She pulled out her laptop. And now for the best part. What are you doing? I asked. Booking, she said, her fingers flying over the keyboard. That luxury resort in the Riviera Maya, the one we saw the other day. For that same weekend. First-class flights, room with a private pool, all-inclusive. It's our second honeymoon. I kissed her. You're a genius. I know, she said. Now help me pick the hotel. I want one that will look amazing on Instagram. The weekend of Beatrice's wedding was, without exaggeration, one of the best of my life. While they were at a pretentious golf club, Renata and I were in a hammock over the turquoise sea. And we posted pictures. Oh yes, we posted pictures. We didn't tag anyone. We didn't write anything passive-aggressive. Just pure happiness. Photos of us toasting with margaritas. Photos of Renata in a bikini reading a book. A photo of me in the private pool with the ocean view. The caption, celebrating life. I love you, at Renata_G. The counterattack was silent but brutal. We knew they would see them. We knew every like from a cousin or a mutual friend would be a small dagger. We disconnected from the world and enjoyed ourselves. We didn't know anything about the event of the year until we returned, tanned and relaxed. Aunt Lucia, who had obviously been forced to go, called us. Kids, you have no idea. You have no idea what a thing, she said, and she was laughing. Tell us everything, Auntie, Renata said, putting her on speaker. A circus. A disaster. To start, the groom, that Alejandro guy, is an unbearable jerk. He treated the waiters like trash. And his family. A bunch of snobs who looked at all of us like we were the help. And Beatriz? I asked. Worse. She spent the whole night posing for photos like she was a movie star. But the best part, my aunt lowered her voice, was the toast. You know what your mother did? Teresa got up there and cried. Cried, I swear to you. She gave a speech about ungrateful children, about the empty chair of her beloved son, about how certain people had tried to ruin her daughter's day. She delivered a soap opera monologue. Half the guests had no idea what was going on. It was so awkward. The groom looked like he wanted to kill her. I can't believe it, Renata said, covering her mouth. And Beatriz, instead of calming her down, hugged her and cried with her. A show. A fucking show. How embarrassing, Carlos. People started leaving early. A fiasco. We couldn't help but laugh. Wow, I said. What a shame. It sounded like it was going to be a great party. The real karma, however, took a little longer. About 8 months passed. Life went on. Fernando had gotten much closer. He came for dinner once a week. He became friends with Renata, he respected her. He saw that we were a solid team. One night, we were watching a game at my house and Fernando was very quiet. What's up, bro? Everything okay? I asked him. He turned off the TV. I have to tell you something. Sounds serious. It's Beatriz. Beatriz is getting divorced. I was stunned. What? Already? That fast? 8 months. They lasted 8 months. I spoke with him, well, with the ex, Alejandro. He sought me out. He wanted to, I don't know, vent. And the guy is furious. He said Beatriz is a monster, that she's the most selfish, wasteful, and shallow person he's ever met. That she bled him dry, spent a fortune on his credit cards without asking, that she demanded servants, that she treated him like an ATM. He said the last straw was when she demanded he buy my mother an apartment so she could be closer to her. No fucking way. Yeah. The guy dumped her. And it seems he was smarter than her. They had a prenup with separation of assets. So, she was left with nothing. The guy kicked her out of the apartment. She moved back to my parents' house. There was a long silence. I didn't feel joy, just a sense of inevitability. Carlos, Fernando said, and his voice sounded broken. You were right. You were completely right. About her, about my mother. They're toxic. They're poison. And I kept quiet. For my job, because I was a coward, because I didn't want problems. I left you alone. I let them do that to you at your wedding. And I'm sorry, bro. Really, I'm sorry. It was the second most sincere apology I had ever received. The first had been from Renata for being late to a date once. You're forgiven, Fernando, I told him. It's never too late to wake up. He gave me a hug. Thanks. Really. Beatriz's fall from grace, as I learned from Fernando and Aunt Lucia, was hard. Accustomed to a life of luxury with Alejandro, returning to her childhood bedroom at my parents' house was a brutal blow. And apparently, the hell my father had described before my wedding was nothing compared to the one now. 2 dethroned, bitter, and broke queens, blaming each other. I went on with my life. Renata and I were in the process of buying our first house. We were happy. Until one Saturday morning, the intercom buzzed. Yes. I answered. Carlos. It's me. It's Beatriz. Please, let me come up. We need to talk. Her voice sounded broken. Hollow. I looked at Renata. She just nodded, her face serious. It's your decision. Come up, I told her, and buzzed the building door open. My heart was pounding. What did she want? To yell at me? Blame me? A few minutes later, there was a knock on my door. I opened it. I almost didn't recognize her. The Beatrice standing in front of me was not the Instagram princess. She was disheveled, pale. The expensive blonde dye had turned brassy, and her dark roots were obvious. She was wearing old sweatpants and a stained sweatshirt. She had no makeup on and had been crying. Her eyes were swollen and red. "Hello, Beatrice," I said, my voice flat. I didn't invite her in. I stood in the doorway. "Carlos," she started to sob. An ugly, real sob, with snot. Nothing like her crocodile tears from before. "Carlos, please, help me." "Help you with what?" I'm ruined. Alejandro took everything. I have no money, not a cent. Mom is. She's crazy. Dad does nothing. I don't have a job. I have nothing. She looked at me with those huge, teary eyes, the same eyes she had used her whole life to get what she wanted. The weapon that always worked on me. The weapon that made me settle for the strawberry cake. "Brother, please," she sobbed, taking a step towards me. I know. I know I was an idiot. I know I treated you horribly. I swear, I know it. I was a selfish fool. Forgive me, please forgive me. She moved closer, trying to hug me. I put a hand on her shoulder, stopping her. "Please, help me," she whispered. "You're my brother. I have no one else. Can you lend me some money? Just to get started. To rent a little room, to look for a job. I swear I'll pay you back. Please, Carlos." I stared at her. I saw the 10-year-old girl. I saw the capricious teenager. I saw the 27-year-old woman who demanded I move my wedding. I saw the woman who offered to forgive me. And the peacemaker inside me, that martyred idiot who had lived in my chest for 32 years, finally died. It turned to dust. My voice came out. And it wasn't my voice. It was a deeper, colder voice, a voice I had never used before. No. Her crying stopped abruptly. She looked at me, confused. "What?" I said no. "I'm not going to help you. But I'm your sister. You stopped being my sister the day you decided your beach party was more important than my wedding. You stopped being my sister when you conspired with my mother to ambush me. You stopped being my sister when you sent me that ridiculous invitation. But I'm apologizing," she yelled, desperation turning to rage. "I'm asking for your forgiveness." "I don't care," I told her. "Your actions have consequences, Beatrice. And this is your consequence. You have to learn to solve your own problems." "You're a monster," she hissed, her face transforming into the mask of hatred I recognized. "No," I said. "I'm just tired. Now get out of my house. You can't do this to me. I'm your blood." "I don't have a sister," I said, looking her straight in the eyes. "I don't know who you are." And I closed the door in her face. I could hear a choked scream on the other side. Then pounding. "Carlos! Open up! You bastard!" I leaned against the door, trembling. Renata came over and took my hand. She didn't say anything. She didn't have to. Of course, the last ghost appeared a few days later. My father found me outside my office. "Son, for the love of God. Your sister," he said desperately. "She's living on a friend's couch. She's devastated. You can't do this to her. She's your blood. I looked at him, the poor, pathetic, cowardly man in front of me. "Dad," I said, "I'm going to say this one time, and I want you to listen carefully." My voice was quiet, but deadly. "If you ever come here again to talk to me about her or my mother, if you ever take their side again, I swear on everything holy that you will be the next person I don't open the door for. Do you understand?" He recoiled as if I had slapped him. He saw my eyes and knew I wasn't joking, that Carlos the peacemaker was gone forever. He nodded, defeated. He turned and walked away, hunched over. That was the last time I ever spoke to him about them. A year passed. A year of real silence. A year of peace. Fernando became an integral part of our lives. He and Renata became great friends. They shared a sarcastic humor that I sometimes didn't get. He came to dinner every week. He formally apologized to Renata for his cowardice, and she forgave him. He was my brother. Now, he really was. Aunt Lucia was our go-to aunt, the surrogate grandmother. Renata and I bought our house, a small place with a garden. We started to paint it, to make it ours. One morning, Renata came out of the bathroom. She was trembling. In her hand, she held a small plastic stick. "Carlos," she whispered. I went closer. I saw the two lines. Positive. We're. I couldn't finish. She nodded, tears running down her cheeks. "We're going to be parents." I lifted her up in my arms, spinning around in the middle of the half-painted living room. I cried. I cried with a joy so pure, so overwhelming. We were going to have our own family. A new beginning. A chance to do it right. To break the cycle of toxicity. To be the father I never had. We kept the news a secret at first. We only told Renata's parents, who almost fainted from happiness, Fernando, who yelled, "I'm going to be an uncle," and Aunt Lucia, who cried and said she would be the godmother. But, of course, news travels. And somehow, my mother found out. A few weeks later, Aunt Lucia called me. "Oh, son. I spoke with your father. He told them. And your mother didn't take it well. What did she do?" I asked, my heart sinking. "She's furious. Furious that you didn't tell her yourself, that she found out through others." That night, I saw a message notification on Facebook. It was from her. She had created a new profile to contact me. My first instinct was to delete it. But curiosity. I opened it. "I found out from your gossipy aunt that that woman is pregnant. You moved fast to tie yourself down. I just hope you don't punish that poor, innocent creature the way you've punished us, your real family. A child should never pay for the mistakes and selfishness of an ungrateful father. Congratulations, I guess. I hope that child forgives you one day for taking away his grandparents." I read the message and felt nothing. No rage, no pain, not even pity. I just felt the end. The final nail in the coffin. I called Renata over. "Read this." She read it. She sighed. "Well, I guess that's it. The final word." "Yeah," I said. We sat together on our new couch, in our new house, and methodically blocked the fake profile. We blocked all the mutual friends who could be her spies. We did a digital cleansing, a final amputation. A few months later, we had our baby shower. It was in our small garden. It was packed, full of people who loved us. Renata's parents, her siblings, my friends. Aunt Lucia handing out hugs, and Fernando at the grill, burning the meat and laughing. There was no drama, no fake tears, no empty chairs. Just love. As I watched Renata open gifts, her face lit by the sun and happiness, as I felt my child kick inside her belly, I knew. I hadn't lost a family. I had freed myself from a prison. I had chosen. I chose Renata. I chose my child. I chose my home. I chose peace. And it was worth every single door I had to close. To protect my new family, I had to amputate my family of origin. Did I go too far? Did I do the right thing? Let us know your opinion in the comments. Did Carlos do the right thing by cutting off all contact, or should he have forgiven Beatriz? Thanks for listening to this story until the end. If you liked it, please leave us a like. It's very important to us. And if you haven't already, subscribe to the channel and activate the notification bell so you don't miss any family drama. See you in the next story.